Well, now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Al Ferguson, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Love is in the air as Pride Fort Lauderdale returns February 14 for Valentine's Day. Well, it's official. After years of false starts, Hotspots Happening Out has announced today that a new future is in store for Pride Fort Lauderdale. In February, it was announced that the former Pride organization board voted to dissolve and transfer Pride Fort Lauderdale to Hotspots Happening Out. The nonprofit media and event organization is the largest of its kind in America. But the real big news today is all about love. How appropriate that in the hostile world our LGBTQ community is facing from radical voices, love seems to be the answer. Pride Fort Lauderdale Parade and Festival will be held on Saturday, February 14, Valentine's Day. This was an important decision because weeks of negotiations continued with various decision makers wanting to have Pride Fort Lauderdale in early January. However, My Hollywood Pride's marketing has been the first Pride in the world, and in 2026 it is going to be held on January 24th. Negotiations were time-consuming to continue Hotspots Happening Out's support of My Hollywood Pride being the first Pride event on the calendar year. So today, that became final. Here are the latest news for the announcement. On Friday, February 13th, Wilton Manors and the famous LGBTQ entertainment community will host Pride on the Drive as a kickoff to what will be a landmark date of the community's calendar. Other big news is that the parade, for the first time in its nearly 50-year history, will move to the Downtown Fort Lauderdale Entertainment District. Pride Fort Lauderdale is the oldest LGBT Pride celebration in Florida. We're all proud of that fact. The parade will be held downtown near Riverwalk, and anchor areas around Pride Fort Lauderdale will include the New River and the Esplanade Park, Broward Performing Arts Center, and the Museum of Science and Discovery. The parade will end at the Pride Fort Lauderdale Festival grounds that will include entertainment stages, vendors, food providers, and much more. The location is in the heart of the nightclubs, restaurants, and other business organizations that will add events as time goes on for parties and more. Pride Fort Lauderdale will bring the largest LGBTQ presence ever in downtown Fort Lauderdale's history. Hotspots Happening Out CEO Jeff Sterling told Queer News Tonight today, quote, "This is the biggest single LGBTQ expansion of the city of Fort Lauderdale since pandemic, utilizing the downtown entertainment district and core, bars, theaters, attractions, and all of the community and business partnerships will make this one of America's signature LGBTQ events. Growth for the future is nearly unlimited. Exactly what Fort Lauderdale represents from its large and diverse LGBTQ community." End quote. Hotspots Happening Out will be unique in producing 3 nonprofit Pride events, including Stonewall Pride on June 14th on Wilton Drive, then the Diversity Festival, Pride Fete, on August 9th, rounded out by today's breaking news of the return of Pride Fort Lauderdale on February 14th, 2026. Stay tuned to Queer News Tonight for all of the exclusive breaking news of Pride Fort Lauderdale. Tremendously exciting news from my seat. First off, Faye and I are going to be broadcasting the Stonewall Pride Parade. We're starting to get excited for its return on June 14th, then Pride Fete, and then Pride Fort Lauderdale. I just think the irony of what we're facing in the world right now, to be on Valentine's Day is kind of a tongue-in-cheek of going the way to fight hate is with love.
Yeah.
When's a better time to do that?
Yes.
But Valentine's Day.
Right?
And I'm also very, very happy, to be honest with you. I followed this story very closely, that we can, in Fort Lauderdale and at Hotspots Happening Out, we can support My Hollywood Pride. I think their Pride, this will be the fourth or fifth year. They're the first Pride event in the world. I love that monicum, and we can support that. And then a number of weeks later, Pride Fort Lauderdale comes. So I just think it's great for the community. One last thought. It's not possible to do the beach. It's just not possible. The amount of money to get this festival back up and stable and on its feet, it has to be realistic. And the beach is not realistic. Just to lease the parking spaces cost a king's ransom. And so while we love the parade on A1A, it's just not viable. The next great alternative story is to be in the entertainment district in downtown. And basically the entire entertainment district and all of those anchors that we tell you about in the story will get behind this and support and make this the biggest LGBT event in Fort Lauderdale's history. Very excited.
Well, I can't get the song Love is in the Air out of my mind now, right after that. But how exciting and how perfect for it to be on Valentine's Day. I love that you folks picked that day. It's just so perfect for us to celebrate love, celebrate each other, right? And every Pride is super important, especially right now. So a couple of things. I love that you didn't close in on My Hollywood Pride's time, right? We want to let every Pride have their own time, have their own spotlight. So I really do appreciate that Hotspots Happening Out did that. The next thing is that people are excited about Pride Fort Lauderdale, okay? In the rumor mill. Right? The gays were worried. We were worried that we were going to lose Pride Fort Lauderdale completely. So when the news came out that Hotspots Happening Out was acquiring it, people got excited, right? But is it really going to be still Pride? Are they going to turn it into another event? Are they going to change it completely? So are you saying that we're having a Pride? It's February 14th, and it's going to be in downtown Fort Lauderdale. It's freaking exciting. And downtown Fort Lauderdale is amazing, okay? Like to have a Pride parade go down by Las Olas, like that is foo-foo, and it's also in a straight neighborhood, right? So we also have straight people looking at what we're doing, I went to the opening of that restaurant Timber. Yeah, I dropped that name. Yes, I did, right? And I was there with the mayor. Yeah, I dropped that too, right? I was there with Dean Trantellis, right? And he said, Faye, whatever Jeff Sterling needs. We are so excited that Pride Fort Lauderdale is coming back. That's from the mayor of Fort Lauderdale. Like, how does that wash over you, Al? That the freaking mayor is like, yes, let's do this.
Well, and you hit the bullseye. Being in downtown Fort Lauderdale allows you to, there's iconic clubs, giant clubs in downtown Fort Lauderdale in the entertainment district. You have Riverwalk, you have Broward Center. Can't you see Museum of Science and Industry doing some kind of big LGBT event for the weekend? Perhaps even on Pride Fort Lauderdale's day. It just gives so many opportunities in terms of having so many businesses and so much space, which can be difficult for a Pride festival. Different than the beach experience at Miami Beach, different than the experience on Wilton Drive in Wilton, a fresh new addition. And I agree with you completely. For people going, why do we need Pride? We need as much Pride as we can get because our visibility helps create allies. And we need allies. Now, we're an echo chamber of our own community that needs to unite better, but we're still an echo chamber. Exactly to your point.
Well, it's the February 14th is a great day too for all of those people like me who are perpetually single. I always love a distraction on February 14th to do something. And they also, other events tend not to compete too much on February 14th because they, if you want to go out with your significant other into a restaurant. So it's a great day that hopefully all of us are going to be able to just go out and come together. So I'm super excited.
And it's 2 miles from Wilton, so you Wilton heads, you don't have to worry about, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like Wilton is still going to get the extra love of having events there because it's a quick little Uber ride
right
there.
On the drive, we all understand the story on Pride Fort Lauderdale, the oldest Pride celebration in Florida, but through no fault of their own, really, COVID came and they are the ones that really took it the hardest, right on the chin. They just were not able to stand up. Faye and I have broadcast the first time it went to the beach. Faye did the next broadcast of calling the parade. But there were just so many difficulties. It's all the past. It doesn't need to be talked about anymore. It's only about the future. But we really need Pride Fort Lauderdale because, after all, we're one of the largest, greatest LGBTQ communities in the world. And Fort Lauderdale Pride Fort Lauderdale will represent that.
Can't wait. Pride Fort Lauderdale, February 14th, 2026. Mark your calendars. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in